just 3 minutes after, and if people join us, that is great. So welcome everybody. This is our, we've been doing these lunch and learns now since February, so I don't even know what number we're on. I say that every time. I should get prepared and know that. But we've been doing this since February as a way to bring people together online, as we're our co-working space, the Village Hive, and we have 3 locations in the Greater Toronto area. And the whole idea of co-working is to bring people together in person. So as you can imagine, this past year and a bit, during the pandemic in Ontario, we had to initially shut down our co-working spaces because we weren't unsure of what the restrictions were going to be. And we did slowly open up our spaces again to very limited capacity. And so it's been a challenging year, and we've really been missing our community. But as we're getting vaccinated and things are opening up again, we're really looking forward to bringing our community back. So if you're not familiar with co-working, it's not just about renting space. So we have space for entrepreneurs and remote workers, small businesses, but the whole idea is to bring people together as a community so that we can work together, share space, collaborate, get to know each other, and build those, one-on-one connections that we've all been missing during the pandemic. And even pre-pandemic, co-working spaces were thriving because entrepreneurs and remote workers just find it lonely to work from home. And now it's even more so true. We realize the implications of being isolated for so long. So we have our co-working spaces are in Markham and North York, where Monica is today. So Monica's at our North York location, and I am too today. I'm usually in Markham, and we have a space at Yonge and Eglinton in Toronto. So our spaces all have a place for people to come in and work. So if you can see the background behind Monica, that's what her space looks like at Duncan Mill. And we have lots of desks for people to come in, and a hot desk, or if you want your own dedicated desk, you can come in and have a membership where you have your own space. But we also have private offices that you can rent by the day, by the hour, half day, or if you're a therapist or somebody that needs a space just to see clients, you can rent it by the day. But we also have options to rent by the hour. And we're also looking forward to welcoming people back into our boardrooms for larger meetings and workshops. And the other part about co-working too is that collectively, all of us, all our spaces and all the people come together, and we have different benefits. So we have networking lunches so that people can get to know each other better. We have different options, partnerships with a coding company, Lighthouse Labs, with Wellness Works for wellness for our members, with Owner, which helps startups and helps them get incorporated. So we've got lots of discounts and partners to help our members thrive in their businesses. So we want to welcome everybody and now that we're opening up more, if you live in the GTA, the Greater Toronto area, we'd love to have you come in for a free co-working day. And we'll be sending out an email to share Michelle's workshop and all the details about our spaces. If you're not in the Greater Toronto area and you are new to co-working, haven't heard of co-working, but are looking for a space in wherever you live, we can help you do that too, because we've got connections around the world. That's a great thing about this. It's not only the collaborations in our own spaces, but also with our co-working partners around the world. So you're not here to listen to me speak. We're here to see Michelle. I'm really excited to welcome Michelle. And I'm going to let you take it from here and take us through some great exercises. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You know what? Thank you, Duncan Mill Hyde, for having me here. And thank you to everybody for coming today. I just want to say that today is going to be more of a dialogue than a monologue. I love teaching, but I also love the interaction. So a lot of things we will be doing today is going to involve some journal work, going to involve some meditation. It's going to be really juicy. So before we get started, if you have a book close by, paper, pencil, any of those things, bring it, because we will be doing some writing. So I'll give everyone a minute to do that. So go grab your journals, paper, pencil, pens, whatever you need. Amazing. Love it. Love it. And yes, I will be having slides, which I'm going to share. So just give me a second. I'm going to share my slide. Oh, I don't think that's what, I'm not sure what's happening there. Let me know if everyone can see my slides. I'm just going to present. There you go. Can everyone see this?
Yeah, perfect.
Perfect. All right. Oops, went a little too much. So today is all about transforming stress and anxiety. This is one of my passion topics. I have a bunch of passion topics. You'll get to know me soon. But it's all about the moment you can manage your stress, manage your anxiety, you can tap into that joy that's within us, right? Whenever we are stressed out, guess what we're losing on? We're losing on that inner happiness. We're losing out on that inner peace. So to get started, a little bit about me. I have two babies. You can see one of them is my 7-year-old son and the other is a fur baby. We just got this little puppy literally a month ago, keeping me on my toes. Need to do all these stress management tools that I'm about to share with you guys. I do them every day myself as well. So want you all to know that this is a safe place. Whatever we'll be discussing will remain here. And I would love it if you could interact in this chat when I am asking questions. That would be great, right? So what else about me? A little bit about me. I am the author of the book, You Are Enough. It's personal journey as well as a transformation journey where I take you through a 7-step process. Education-wise, I actually graduated from Queen's University with a master's in occupational therapy. And I used to work as a therapist for the longest time till I went on an inner journey. I realized a lot of my past trauma, a lot of my childhood limiting belief was stopping me, was coloring my perception of the world, and that true happiness. I wasn't feeling that because I was stuck in my past. So it was a journey I took. A part of the journey was transforming my emotions, transforming my stress, transforming the limiting beliefs. And now my passion is to teach others to do exactly the same, so you can tap into your inner peace, inner happiness, no matter what's going on in your circumstances, not be connected to your childhood trauma, not allow that to color your future lives, right? So that's a little bit about what I do. I have a company called Rewiring Minds, and yeah, that's a little bit about me. So let's dive right in, because I have a lot to cover and I don't think we have very much time. So the first work I wanted everyone to just do is grab your journals and write down, what is the biggest cause of stress in your life right now? What is it? Is it your children? Is it your work? Is it COVID situation? Is it the uncertainty, not sure where everything is going? What is the biggest cause of stress in your life right now? If you have answered that question, I want you to move on to your next question. What emotional states do you usually find yourself in when you're stressed? So do you find you get irritated, frustrated, overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, sad, guilt, shame? What are those emotions that you go into when you are stressed? And if you have figured that out, go to question 3. How is your stress and anxiety affecting your life right now? Do you find that you're short-tempered? Do you find your relationships are affected? Do you find that you're forgetting things, your memory is affected? Do you find that you're struggling with connecting to your heart's intuition, that higher wisdom? Do you find that you are having difficulty making decisions, right? Do you find your brain is foggy? How is stress affecting your life right now? And if you're done these 3 questions, type into the chat, I'm done, so I know to move on to the next slide. So I'll give about 2 minutes for everyone to tackle these 3 questions. But if you're done, do type into the chats. Now, what we're doing here, again, as you're writing this, you want to start to practice something called mindfulness. And what that is as you're writing, you're seeing this, right? but I want you to refrain from giving it a story. I want you to refrain from being harsh on yourself, going, my goodness, I can't believe this is who I am. My, I'm sure I'm the only one like this, right? All those critical thoughts, all those stories, let's keep them away, right? You want to observe what's coming out on paper from a place of kindness, from a place of compassion for yourself, okay? So that's basically what mindfulness is, becoming aware, awareness of the present moment. And in this present moment, you're writing all these down. Become aware of it, but with kindness and not judgment. All right, I'm just going to check the chats to see if everyone's done. Thank you, Aliyah, for sharing. Worrying about my school and my anxiety. Yeah, I usually get really mad and flustered. Yeah, all of us, right? And that is what you're going to find out as you're typing into the chats, that we're not alone. We're all very similar. Oftentimes, when we are struggling in life, we think we're the only ones struggling. And that causes us to feel more anxious, more depressed, because we think, oh, how is everyone getting it right? Why is this happening to me, right? And the more you guys are openly sharing, and I thank you for that. Thank you for the vulnerability, because it helps someone else to share as well. So thank you, Aliyah. Love it. Love the shares. Done, done, done. Okay, I see a few done. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. And what I want everyone to do, ooh, there you go, is rate your stress levels right now on a scale from 1 to 10. Where are you? 1 is no stress at all. 10 is extremely stressed out. Where are you when it comes to your stress levels? Just rate yourselves. So are you at a 9 out of 10? Or maybe you're at a 2 and a 3, and I'm hoping by the end of today's workshop, whatever your numbers are, we can reduce it at least by 2 to 3. So that's my intention for all of you, giving you the tools to manage your stress, giving you the tools to have your inner peace no matter what's going on around you. So rate your stress levels. And the great thing you can do right now is, I actually would love it if you all could type into the chats your stress levels right now. So let's share it with each other. So type into the chats, where are you today? What's your stress level on a scale from 1 to 10? And for some reason, I can't see the chat, so my apologies if I'm not reading out what you've written. And Monica, if you can see it, if you can read out to me some of the scores that are coming through, that would be great. Not sure where I lost the chat.
So I have 7.5, 6 to 7, over 6, 6 to 7, guessing. Someone said 10, 7 out of 10.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And my intention is by the end of the session, we can reduce those scores, and you're going to see the tools. If you start to use them every day, wake up in the morning, use some of these tools, right? Because you want to set your day for success. You don't want to wake up overwhelmed. You want to wake up grounded so you're ready to face your day. So that's a little bit of the self-care tool there. Now let's just dive in, because if you want to manage stress, let's ask ourselves a little more questions, right? So actually take a moment right now. Usually I make people do this as a journal activity, but for some reason I'm being called to invite all of you guys here to close your eyes. Just close your eyes. And I want you to imagine what life would look like if you're no longer stressed out. When you're tapped into that inner peace, inner joy, what would life look like? Just take a moment. What would your relationships look like? Your relationship with your partner, with your children, with your parents, with your co-workers. Tap into your own inner state. How would you be feeling? That joy, that peace, that feeling of being grounded, that feeling of being unstoppable, powerful. Knowing you can face any challenges in this world, that resiliency. How would you feel? Feel it. What would you be doing? Just notice it. And just take a moment right now as you're seeing these things, your ideal life where you're no longer stressed out. Just feel grateful. Just for a second, just feel grateful for it, as though it has already happened. Amazing. I'm going to invite everyone to open your eyes. Was this activity hard or easy for you to do? Comment on the chat if it was easy or hard. Because some people find this very difficult to do because it requires you to slow down your mind. It requires you to visualize. And if you're extremely stressed out, just stopping is really hard to do. So you can do a before and after test after the end of this workshop. All right. Now let's dive into what is stress. Now, oftentimes I find people think stress is something external. Oh, COVID is stressful. Getting stuck in traffic jam, that is stressful. My children are stressing me out. But as you can see here, your stress oftentimes is not the situation that's external. Your stress is the story you're giving the situation. Your brain perceiving a situation as a threat. And when that happens, emotions or chemicals are released into your body. And these emotions of fear, anxiety, sadness, frustration, guilt, shame is what you experience as stress. So many times people don't realize when you're learning stress management, you're actually learning emotional management. This is emotional health, mental health, right? So when you think of stress now, see it in a different light, okay? Now, this was something I found. I'm a certified HeartMath practitioner, and I'll tell you what that is in one of the slides. And HeartMath studies showed this. It showed that 60 to 80% of the primary care doctor visits are related to stress. And yet only 3% receive stress management help, right? We go to the doctor, you get sick, we go to the doctor, we're given what? Pills to manage the symptoms. But what about going to the root of the issue? If you struggle with headaches, dizziness, anxiety, anger, pain disorders, if you have tension in your jaw, if you have heart conditions, digestive disorders, if you are trying to lose weight and you can't figure out why you can't lose weight even though you're not eating much food, decreased sex drive, muscle tension, fibromyalgia, excessive pain, all that can be managed if we can go to the root issue. And that is the issue of managing the stresses in your life. And you will see why. And that is what I want to show you in a second. But before that, and you know what, I'll just skim through this because you all already know what stress is doing to your lives, right? High blood pressure, diminished cell repair. So I tell people this is also an anti-aging program because the more you manage your stress, you're releasing this hormone called DHEA, which is an anti-aging hormone, compared to when you're stressed out, your body releases cortisol, which is an aging hormone. So you age faster, right? So all of these symptoms, brain cell death, all of that related to stress. And this is all from HeartMath studies, right? This is science showing. Let's go to the next slide. Now, why this happens, right? The moment you understand this, you'll understand why you're using the tools and the reason you should be using the tools. All of you, is anyone here familiar with the autonomic nervous system? Just raise your hand or type into the chats. Yes, no? Okay, some of you, okay. So the autonomic, we all have this, okay? We all have nervous system, right? That's how the information goes from our brain to all parts of our bodies. Now we all have something called the autonomic nervous system. So think of all the things happening automatically in your body. Your hormones, your cell regeneration, right? Your immune system, your heart pumping, your eyes blinking, all of that happens automatically. Everything that happens automatically where you're not consciously, like if I consciously lift my cell phone, that's not my autonomic nervous system. But my eyes blinking, my heart beating, all that, my kidneys, right? All of that is automatically happening, and that's controlled by autonomic nervous system. Now this system has two branches, and one of the branch is called the fight, flight, freeze branch, and the other one is the parasympathetic branch. So you have the sympathetic, which is the fight, flight, freeze. The other is the parasympathetic, which is your restoration branch, right? Digestive, reproductive, all of that here. Now, ideally, both these branches work together. They are in sync. Now, what happens when your body thinks you're under threat? And what, remember the emotions? When your body starts to go into fear, anger, guilt, anxiety, any of that, what tends to happen? There's an imbalance. Your sympathetic nervous system kicks in, the tone of it rises. You're in a fight, flight, freeze. Now, this is great when you're actually in a situation. So remember back in the days when we were hunters and gatherers, we had tigers, we had real threat. So if you were in a situation, if you had a real tiger in front of you, this branch had to kick in. That fight and flight had to kick in. And what happens is that all the energy, blood supply goes into your extremities. You're ready to fight. You're ready to run away. But oxygen is being reduced from the brain, right? There's enough oxygen in the brain to keep it alive, but you do not have access to the thinking part of your brain. And I will explain that further in a second. So this is what's happening to you these days. There's no real tiger in front of you, but every time there's a perception of threat, this system is activated. So think about this whole last 2 years, you've been hearing of COVID, 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 threat to our life, threat to our life. Imagine the amount of times your system has gone into the sympathetic, where the sympathetic tone is high, that many of us are chronically stressed out. Many of us are like this, where the sympathetic is up here and parasympathetic is down here. And the whole idea is to balance it. So if you find yourself getting sick quite a lot, if you find yourself having digestive issues, sleep issues, reproductive issues, any of that, it's because this system, you need to give it a little boost now, right? And a lot of tools we will be learning today is to boost this parasympathetic. So I'm just going to skim through our next slide really quick. I already explained it, what happens in your brain. When you find yourself saying things you shouldn't be saying and then regretting later, guess what happens then? It's because the part of your brain, the primitive part of your brain that keeps you or wants to keep you safe, right, has perceived as a threat and has taken over. And when that happens, the part of the brain over here, I don't know if you can see my arrow, called the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that does your thinking, decision making, all of that has no access. Actually, you have no access to it. So when you're under stress, you're making poor decisions. When you're under stress, you're not thinking clearly. It's best not to make any decisions in that state, okay? And this is why. Now, one of the things that many don't know, most people know about the brain, most people know about the nervous system, but many don't know is your heart plays a vital role in your emotional regulation. You can use the power of your heart to manage your stresses. And you're going to see that in a second. I'm going to teach you some tools there. Now, this is a study by HeartMath, and what they show, or what these graphs show you, is that when you experience negative emotions like frustration, anger, your heart rate, and so this, you can see the graph, it's just heart rate over time. So it's basically beat to beat variation. Your heart rate looks chaotic. You can see how this graph is chaotic. You know what that means? It's actually a window into your nervous system. Your nervous system is in chaos. If this is a graph you see. Now at the bottom, you can see someone experiencing positive emotions of appreciation, gratitude, care, compassion. You have a nice sign-like wave. Do you know what this indicates? It indicates the nervous system is in balance. So that's why when we are in those joyful states, in those happy states, in our peace states, we can think clearly, life just flows, there's no resistance, right? But when you're in chaos, there's no flow, you can't think clearly. It's as though you're attracting all the bad stuff towards you, right? Now, what I'm going to be teaching you today is how you can be in this state, this bottom graph, the state that they call the state of coherence, without having your external circumstances change, because that is where the power lies. You may not have control over your external circumstances, but you have power over your internal state, right? So, coherence, and I'm just going to skim through it so you I just wanted you to understand a bit about what it is. It's basically when your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your hormones, your immune system, your basically body, mind, and spirit, it's all in coherence, it's all aligned. It's what they call flow, right? So if you're an entrepreneur or if you are at school, you want to get into this state because this is a state where your brain is at its highest efficiency. This is a state where you can get creative. And HeartMath science also shows about the heart's intuition, the intelligence within us, right? You can connect to that. You can use the power of your heart to make decisions. So how do we get into these states? Now, there are a lot of tools to get into these states. And today I just want to quickly cover these 4. One of the things is breath work. And I'm going to show you what kind of breath is the easiest way to get into the state of coherence. Okay, and we're going to do it together. The other one is HeartMath interventions. And I'm going to show you something called the quick coherence method, where you're going to see within 2 minutes. These are for the people who don't have time to set aside time for meditation. You only have 2 minutes, right? You get to do the HeartMath intervention. Emotional freedom technique, tapping. This is a great tool if you find yourself getting anxious quite a bit, find yourself getting frustrated quite a bit, and you're having difficulty snapping out of it. Tapping is a great tool. And in the end, I want to guide you through a beautiful meditation. Who here has done a meditation before? Anyone meditated already? A few of you? Yeah, okay. Amazing. I see some questions on the chat and I will answer those questions soon, I promise you. All right. So why not now we dive right in? Remember I told you this is not going to be something where you can sit back and hear. It's going to be very interactive. So what I'm going to invite you all, rather than me talking about the breath work, I'm going to invite you all to participate with me so we can do it together. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And again, become aware of your own selves, right? When you close your eyes and start to do this breath work as I guide you, start to become aware of this resistance. Don't get attached to the story you're just observing. Start to become aware of, is this hard or easy to do? And again, no judgment, from a place of kindness, just observing, okay? So what I'm going to invite you to do, close your eyes and just start to notice your breath. You're not trying to change anything. You're just observing. You're just going to notice where you feel your inhales. Notice where you feel your exhales. Do you feel it in the area of your lungs? Maybe it's your stomach. Maybe you feel it in your nose, your throat. I'm going to invite you to open your eyes. That was a very quick, just awareness exercise. Type into the chats. When you close your eyes, was it hard to do? Was it hard to just look at your breath? Was it hard to slow down? Notice, where did you notice your breath? Was it in the area of your chest or was it in your stomach? So type into the chats where you noticed your breath. As we go on to the next part of the breath, the abdominal breathing. Now to get into that state of coherence where you want to balance out your nervous systems, you want to think of 2 things. Easiest way to do that, the easiest way to come into coherence is one is abdominal breathing, those deep breaths. And the most important thing to that abdominal breathing is adding a rhythm to it. So you want to breathe in for 5, pause, breathe out for 5, or any other rhythm. So there are different rhythms out there. Some of my beginners like 5 and 5. It's very easy, so they like it. Some of my more advanced folks like 4, breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. Right? So it depends on what rhythm you feel comfortable. The idea isn't the numbers. The focus is not on the numbers. The focus is If you're picking a number, stick to it. Rhythm is what matters. Okay, rhythm is what gets into a state of coherence. So that's what we're going to try now. I'm just going to quickly read the chats. Notice my breath is short. Yeah, it took me time to actually focus. Breath in my stomach. It was also very long and slow. Yes, Alia, perfect. Because that is the aim eventually. And if you found it hard breathing, sitting up, and as we are practicing the abdominal breathing, you may benefit from lying down. So after the session, let's say you want to practice breathing at home. If you were one of the folks who experience your breath here in the area of your chest, you want to practice lying down and practicing the breath work. Because when you lie down, you're going to notice your stomach will get involved in the breathing. Okay, so that's what the abdominal breathing is. In abdominal breathing, what the focus is you're expanding your stomach as you breathe in. So remember, we are doing abdominal breathing, we're adding a rhythm. So I'm just going to explain it right now, and then I'm going to take you through it, okay? So breathe in. We're going to follow a rhythm as we do that. And as you breathe out, I want you all to engage your stomach muscles. So breathe out, squeeze your muscles in, okay? Squeeze your stomach in. And as you breathe in, so let's say we go with 5 and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what we'll be doing, okay? We're going to do that for another 2 minutes, so that way you're getting a hang of it, and we're going to put it all together in the end. All right, once again, we're just going to close our eyes, and this time I'm going to invite you to place one hand on your stomach, one hand on your heart. And you can imagine your breath going in through the heart, into your stomach, and as you breathe in, allow your stomach to expand. Maybe you need to push your stomach out at this stage, and that's okay. Just push your stomach out. And as you breathe out, squeeze your stomach in and imagine the breath coming out through the heart. So you're breathing through the heart into your stomach, expanding your stomach. And as you breathe out, squeeze your stomach in. And we're going to add a rhythm to this breathing, okay? Okay, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Amazing, amazing work, everyone. You may open your eyes. Type into the chat, has anyone already noticed a shift in their inner state? Raise your hands or type into the chats if you have. Yeah. Very simple, right? So if you don't have any time at all, you can just do this when you're driving. You don't need to close your eyes, but you can start to go, hey, let me try and breathe into my stomach. Or walking, when you're walking in nature, right? You can just start to become aware of your breath. Simple tools, right? Just going to take a look at the chat. Feel more relaxed? Yeah. Jinsi says yes. Now I want you to have one of the powerful tools. And that tool is a quick coherence method. And you're going to see the power of it. Takes literally 2 minutes to do. It's going to involve the heart-focused breathing that I just taught you guys. And the second step is going to be, we're going to feel the feelings. This is the missing link often. Remember, you don't have to wait for your circumstances to change. You know, the reason I found HeartMath was because I was going through a phase in my life. It was in my relationship. I was having a lot of turmoil. And I was getting so tired of allowing my external circumstances to dictate my inner state because I was feeling anxious. I was like, I don't know what the future is going to hold for me. That I went on this journey because I was a therapist back then and I wanted science-based tools. I literally typed in how to manage my inner state when my external state is falling apart. And somehow it was this divine intervention, I guess, HeartMath popped up. And I really loved the work that I got certified in it. And it's so powerful because once I started doing the work, I realized my joy, my happiness was always there. Nobody ever had the power over it. No circumstances ever had the power over it. I had the power over it. And that's what I want to give you guys as well, you know, give your power back. So this is one of my favorite tools to teach. Again, this is for all the new busy people out there because it takes only 2 minutes. And we're going to connect to our heart and we're just going to feel the emotions, okay? So I'm going to invite you all once again this time to place your hand on your heart. You don't have to place a hand on your stomach. It's just, you can place both hands on your heart if you like, or just one hand. And I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And just notice the area of your heart. Maybe it's difficult for you to do that and just acknowledge where you are in your journey. That's okay. Maybe the mind's too busy. And if the mind's busy, just notice the thoughts. It's as though you're sitting by the side of the road, noticing traffic go by. That traffic are the thoughts. You're just observing it without judgment. You're not running into it. Now acknowledge the presence of your thoughts and see if you can drop into your heart. Just noticing the area of your heart. Now see if you can breathe in through your heart and imagine your breath going out through your heart. See if you can breathe a little slower, a little deeper. See if you can add a rhythm to this breathing. We're going to breathe in for 5. We're going to breathe out for 5. So breathing in 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing in 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathing out 2, 3, 4, 5. Now see if you can imagine or bring to mind a beautiful place you've been to. Or maybe it's someone you love unconditionally, maybe your child, maybe your fur baby. Something that makes you feel grateful in your heart. So if it's a beautiful place, vision the beautiful place. If it's your child, a loved one, fur baby, visualize that person. And just feel in your heart the feelings of gratitude. Just allow your heart to feel it. Feel the feelings of compassion, appreciation, calmness, love, peace. And just stay with those feelings. And whenever you're ready, you may open your eyes. I'm just going to mute everyone here. So how are you feeling after that activity? Write down into the chats. You just literally took a moment to feel the feelings of gratitude, feel the feelings of compassion, love, peace. You don't wait for someone to make you feel that. You started to do that. And when you do that, what you're doing is you're creating new neural pathways, new connections in your brain to react to stress. So when we practice these, You want to practice this when you're not stressed out, because then only can you practice this when you're actually stressed out, because the connections are already formed. Otherwise, we're going back to our autopilot behaviors, right? We have certain behaviors, certain way we perceive life, certain way of dealing with life. And that programming has been given to us from our childhood, and that's really strong. So if you want to learn a new program, new ways of being, new ways of doing things, you have to practice, right? So all this requires practice. So calmer, a great mini relaxing practice. Yes, yes. And literally 2 minutes. So when I was talking about managing stress earlier, I said start your day with it. And this particular, out of all the tools I give you, if you can just think of one tool, then go with the quick coherence method. This tool encompasses everything, right? You're using your rhythmic breathing, you're doing heart focus, right? The deep breaths, and you're adding emotions to it. So imagine in the morning, you wake up, you feel grateful, and you start your day. It takes 2 minutes, right? Now, anyone here struggles when it comes to closing your eyes and just being quiet and meditating? Anyone here? Alia says, I loved it. Thank you, Alia. Yeah, Elaine, sometimes meditation is hard. So for those of you who find meditation hard, I want to equip you with tools as well. And for you, I want to introduce a technique called tapping. And the reason I'm tapping is it's one of the points. Now, this is a great tool, because what you're doing with this, and before I go on, has anyone heard of tapping? Type into the chats if you already have heard of tapping and you practice tapping. So this tool, again, what I'm going to be sharing with you is only the basics, right? All of these, there's deep work in it. But these basics are good enough to start your journeys with. Now, in tapping, what you're doing is, if you've heard of acupuncture, that's exactly what you're doing. You're tapping on acupuncture points. These are acupressure points, right? And as you're tapping on these points on your body, you're giving signals to your brain, signaling the brain that it's okay, I'm safe. Because remember, I talked about the brain, how there's a part called amygdala that goes into fight and flight when it perceives threat. So when you are perceiving threat, when you start to tap, your amygdala suddenly starts to have these signals that goes, I'm safe, right? So then the amygdala starts to calm down. And that is why tapping is a powerful tool for those of you who find breathing and meditation hard to do. So depending on our time, I think we do have time actually, I'm going to guide everyone through a very short tapping activity so you can learn a bit about tapping. Alia says, I have and I practice it. Yes. Tapping is really powerful tool. So for those of you who are not familiar with tapping, I'm going to show you the basics of the tapping. And again, some people use certain points that are different. The points I use are the ones in the picture here. So we're going to start off tapping something called a karate chop point. Okay, the karate chop point is, think of, when you do the karate chop, the side of your wrist, and you're going to take 4 fingers and you're just going to tap that karate chop point. And today, as you're tapping, this is a point of acceptance. So what is the emotion you're struggling with? One of the things I can safely say is we all struggle sometimes feeling overwhelmed and anxious, right? So we're going to take that as an example. We're going to tap the side of our wrist and we're going to say, even though I'm feeling all this overwhelm, I'm feeling overwhelmed and anxious or overwhelmed and stressed, whatever word you want to say, right? Whatever emotion you want to say. Even though I'm feeling anxious and overwhelmed, I still accept myself, love and accept myself fully. I want to give you a challenge here. So once again, you say that 3 times, you're just tapping. And I'm going to invite you all to do it with me and see it for yourself. So everyone join me. Tap the side of your wrist and you're going to say, even though I'm feeling overwhelmed, and maybe it's not overwhelmed that you're feeling, it's some of the emotions, say it. I still love and accept myself fully. It's a point of acknowledgement, right? Even though, and one more time, you're going to say it 3 times. Even though I'm feeling overwhelmed, I still love and accept myself fully. Now, the next point you're going to go from there, take 2 of your fingers, is where your eyebrows begin. Okay, the top of the eyebrow, as I like to call it. So where your eyebrows begin, take 2 of your fingers and tap. And you can just say, accept it. You're saying your feelings. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Or maybe it's anxiety that you have. So you're just going to say, I'm feeling anxious. Or maybe you're struggling with guilt or shame. I'm feeling so guilty, right? Or it's anger. I'm feeling so angry, right? Now, the next point is the side of your eyebrows, where your eyebrows end. Take 2 of your fingers and you're tapping. Now, again, it's just 5 to 6 taps, and you're not tapping hard. You're just gently tapping, right? And you just stating again, I'm feeling all this overwhelm. Now, moving to the point that's, again, now if you're following this bone comes right under your eye. This is called the under eye bone. Two of your fingers, and you're just tapping under the eye. Now, you can even close your eyes at this point, or keep your eyes open, whatever you feel comfortable with. And just say, and again, you're all muted, I hope. So you can say out loud what's causing your anxiety, what's causing your anger. Say it out loud. Talk about it. I'm overwhelmed by all the tasks I need to get done. Right? Whatever it is, you're stating it out loud. Or maybe it is, I'm getting angry that I have no help. Nobody wants to help me. Now under the nose as you tap. That's your next point. Right under this little ridge, that's where you're tapping. And you're just saying, continue to say why you're anxious. Keep going. Now under the mouth as you tap, just notice where in your body you feel this emotion. Is it in the area of your heart, the area of your stomach as you're tapping? And sorry, I forgot to mention as I moved, it's the point under your chin or under your lip. There's a little dent. That's the point you want to tap. So it's not your chin, it's that dent, okay? So that's your chin point, but it's on that dent. Perfect. Now notice where you're carrying these emotions, or where you're carrying the stress. Now the next point is, so you have your collarbone, you have these two, you can feel these bones, right? So if you move a little bit, you feel a little dent again. So the best way to tap these points, you can use all 4 fingers and just tap here so you get that point as well. Or some people tend to tap this way, so the thumb is tapping and the index finger is tapping. So you have 2 ways to tap. Feel free to choose any. And as you're tapping, just start to notice, what would my body feel like if I let go of this anxiety? If I let go of the stress, what would that feel like? Right? Just ask yourself, what would that feel like? If that's hard for you to do, I'm going to invite you to just breathe into where you felt your stress. So you're just, if it was the stomach, as you're tapping, you're just breathing into that stomach. And as you breathe out, you're just releasing those emotions. Okay? So there's 2 options you can do. Now the next point to tap is basically for all the ladies. It's easy for us where our bra strap goes. So it's about 4 fingers under the underarms where our bra strap goes. So you're just tapping there with 4 of your fingers. So you're just tapping that point. And again, you're just breathing into wherever you felt that anxiety. And as you're breathing in, you're setting an intention, or you can even say it, I'm choosing to let this anxiety, I'm choosing to release this anxiety, choosing to let it go. And just breathe into that area where you feel the anxiety, feel the stress. And the last point to get to tap is on top of your head. So top of the head point, you're just going to tap. And you're just letting it go, just breathing, letting it go, just feeling what relaxation feels like in your body. And you get to stop, you get to take a deep breath in and just blow it all out. right? And we just did what, like 2 minutes of it. And this is something you can do for an hour, and you can go even deeper, because sometimes when you go into tapping, you'll notice some of the anxiety is not even from today, right? We go on this journey. Oftentimes it's something from the past that's triggering you today. So there are so many levels to it, but this is a great start. Someone messaged saying, wow, that was really nice. I feel much more at peace and relaxed. Yeah, it's such an easy tool, right? Tapping. This is for all you guys who find meditation really hard to do. Tap away, and these were your points. The last point is on top of the head, and you can notice the shift. Now, the reason I'm giving all these tools is not all the tools is for everyone. So some of you might like tapping, some of you might like quick coherence, right? So choose the one you resonate with, that connects with you. And one of the things I didn't mention, we did something similar, is every time you start tapping, you want to rate your stress levels on a scale from 0 to 10 when you're doing it yourself. And after you're tapping, rate it again and notice where it is. Because with tapping, the shift is so quick that oftentimes it just feels like you were always in this relaxed state because the brain shifts so quickly. All right. Now, I want to end our session today with a reset meditation. So this is a body scan meditation. I want everyone to have this opportunity to truly reset your bodies. So we're going to be doing something called a body scan. It's, imagine, if you own a car, you take your car for servicing, right? Body scan does exactly that to your body. So it's a great meditation if you have difficulty with sleep. So many of us, when we're stressed out, guess what? Things are up here, we can't relax our body. And when you're tapping, you may have noticed that you're holding on to stress in different parts of your body and not even realizing it, right? So body scan is an opportunity to release it, to let it go. So I'm going to invite you now. So we have about 5 minutes left. Usually it takes about 20 minutes. So I'm going to do a very quick body scan meditation. And before I do that, the chat just popped up. Thank you, Rosa. Thank you for joining. And whoever has to leave, of course, this is recorded, so you can do the body scan because it's a great meditation. All right, you guys, let's dive right into the body scan. I'm going to invite you once again to close your eyes. And with your eyes closed, once again, just start to notice your breath. Notice your inhales, notice your exhales. See if you can breathe a little deeper, a little slower. And with your next breath in, allow the breath to flow all the way down your body, all the way into your toes. You're just going to start to observe the area of your toes, noticing your toes, noticing your nail, noticing the space between your toes, noticing the top of your feet, bottom of the feet, noticing your legs, your knees, your thighs. And as you notice any sensations in the area. Maybe there's tingling, pins and needles. Maybe the right side feels tighter than the left. You're just observing. You're allowing things to be as they are, allowing yourself to be as you are, with kindness, without judgment. Now with your next breath in, allow the breath to fill the area of your knees, your legs, your feet. Fill it with newness, with fresh energy. And as you breathe out, allow your knees, allow your legs, allow your feet to melt away in your mind's eye. Now bring your attention to your thighs, your hips, your glutes. Noticing the weight of the body, noticing the blood throbbing in, noticing the muscles in the area, noticing if you feel any tightness, Maybe even any emotions. Are you holding on to any stress in the area? With the next breath in, allow the breath to expand the areas, filling it with newness, with fresh energy. And as you breathe out, allow your thighs, your glutes, your hips to melt away in your mind's eye. Let it go. Release any stress you're holding on to. Release. Let it go. Now observe the area of your back, your lower back, your mid back, your upper back. Notice the spine. Notice the nerves coming out of the spine. Notice if you're holding on to any stress in the area, any tension, any baggage, anything that no longer serves you. Just notice. With your next breath in, allow the breath to fill the area of your back, filling it with newness, filling it with fresh energy. And as you breathe out, release all that stress, release all that is no longer serving you. Let it go. Release. Now bring your attention to the area of your stomach. Breathing in and out. Notice your heart, notice your lungs. With the next breath in, allow the breath to fill the area of the front of your body, filling it with newness, fresh energy. And as you breathe out, release all that is no longer serving you. Now bring your attention to the area of your arms. Just noticing any stress, any tension. Now breathe in, fill the area, and as you breathe out, just let it all go. Now bring your attention to the area of your throat and your neck, your face, your head. Now breathe in, fill it with newness, with fresh energy, expand the area. And as you breathe out, allow the area to melt away in your mind's eye. Let it all go. Release. Now take a deep breath in and fill your entire body with this beautiful oxygen, beautiful breath, healing breath. And as you breathe out, allow your entire body to relax, releasing all that is no longer serving you. And when you're ready, you may slowly start to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Slowly start to come to this present moment. Open your eyes. Set an intention to take these emotions, the way you're feeling right now, carry it for the rest of the week, rest of the day. Thank you so much for being part of this workshop. And before we go, if you all could type into the chat where your stress levels are right now. And if you started at 10, 7, 6, let's see, was there any shift? And again, remember the key is external circumstances didn't change. 4, yeah, right? Nothing changed in your life. You just used some breath work. You just used your heart and you were able to be grounded again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. That was amazing.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Stay on here all day. But I guess the important thing is just to, even if you have to schedule it into your day and know that, you brought this to us and that it is possible. And I think that's the most important thing to recognize, that we are all pretty stressed at the beginning, or, mediocre stressed, and now most of us are feeling better. And we just have to remember that it is possible, that it is in our hands to do this. And I think quite often we blame, like you said at the beginning, we blame the traffic, we blame COVID, we blame this. And I try to bring this to my kids and they don't quite get it yet, but I think it's important for them to understand that too, because they think all these external things are what's causing their stress. But
right.
yeah, thank you.
Very true, right? We have the power Oh, you're very welcome, Charlotte.
So
Yes.
we're happy to send all this information, Michelle's contact information, her Facebook page and everything, so you can follow her and stay connected with her, as well as Monica will be sending out the email, so you can stay connected with us at the Hive, whether it's virtual or in person. We really appreciate everybody coming, taking the time for to meet us, meet Michelle, and the time, especially the time for yourself.
Self-care is not selfish.
That's right. Thank you.
Anyway, thank you so much,
care,
Monica
everybody.
and Charlotte, and everyone else for joining. Bye.
Bye.